Yes, good afternoon. Nice to see you all. And we are a team of angels, business angels, and investing into different startups. But I would also like to turn your attention to maybe different areas that you can just consider. And just to start, the foreign direct investment in Latvia, as you can see, the different areas, different countries which have invested in Latvia. So we can, the Sweden is leading the investment by about 1/3 of the investment. Then comes Estonia, Lithuania, and then Germany as the main investors. So it's not the key investment areas, but it's one of the areas that we can consider investing in Latvia, which is professional, scientific, and technical different services, which in fact have been already invested. Then the next is financial services, which account for about 15% of foreign direct investment. Wholesale retail is 13%, manufacturing, information communication technologies, defense, bioeconomy, and smart energy, and then logistics and infrastructure. Just to give you a glimpse of the main sectors where the foreign direct investment from last and this year have gone to. One of the areas that I would suggest of looking into is maybe considering different investments into the high barrier entry markets or areas of high entry level, which means minimal competition and with a handful of global players which control the supply chains. And many people now invest into artificial intelligence, which attracts a lot of competition. So I would assume there are hundreds of thousands of companies who have invested in AI, and that's the market forces, which means that the bigger the competition, the less the margins is, and the market reaches its full efficiency. But there are sectors which uniquely not many people look at and observe, and of course there are some reasons for that, and I will just take a look in the following slides. So what I've concentrated is the sectors for monopoly, which is just one company working in the region or country. Duopoly, which is two companies, or oligopoly, which is just a couple companies, which is our mobile network, three mobile providers. And so it means that the market is quite concentrated. There are high barriers of entry, and high barriers of entry might not necessarily mean only monetary, but it's also like regulation, different intellectual property. And our advantage is that EU and NATO are actively funding diversification and getting away from Russia, from China, which leads us to different opportunities that Latvia can take. And Latvia can also act as a niche supplier for these unique niche markets and enable such niches in Latvia, and also work as an R&D supplier for such businesses. So I just gathered some of the monopolies, duopolies in the world, and one of the industries is rail manufacturing and systems. Of course, it is very high barriers financially to enter, but it's also I would also like to add that Latvia can also supply different components, for example, to rail manufacturing. So the global leaders are Alstom, Siemens, and Thales, three main players. So Latvian fit is we can supply different platforms via Rail Baltica that we're building. We have goods Daugavpils Ditan supply chain company, and we can also repair different rail-related items. Then the other, close to oligopoly are Boeing and Airbus, which operate. There is also Brazilian, what is it, Embraer, which manufactures planes, but it's not that big. There is a Chinese company which does it. But Latvia can also supply different niches for airplane marketing. So the main players are Rolls-Royce. We can supply different niches such as engine, different repairs, and the main players for engine repairs and manufacturers are Rolls-Royce, Safran, Pratt & Whitney, and General Electric, which manufacture the engines for the planes. So for the Latvian fit, we can develop digital twin development. Digital twin means that you digitally simulate the performance of the engine, how it will behave. It's like a plane simulator, which looks like a plane, but it's only a digital box. It's a box with digital tools, but it acts like a plane, and you can test different environments on that. So we can also, Latvia could manufacture different aviation precision components, testing facilities. We already have companies which manufacture print-on-demand spare parts for the planes, which this small startup is located here in Riga. Then the next area is defense manufacturing. It's also like high barriers of entry because you have to get NATO certification if you want to enter the defense manufacturing. And in defense, of course, there are many players, but the main players are Rheinmetall, Biosystems, Thales, and Dassault. And Latvia is very popular with its drones, AI surveillance. We can also do the logistics technology and GPS jamming test. We have very good facilities in Ādaži where we can test the drone capabilities. And I think yesterday there were tests for different anti-missile defense technologies demonstrated by one Estonian startup, and they just chose Ādaži as a place where to demonstrate it. Then the next monopolies are maritime ports, containers, and container digitalization. Of course, we cannot, as private individuals, enter the ports because it's very, very capital intensive. But what we can pay attention to is we can develop smart port solutions, which is IT-based solutions. We can do different logistics solutions. Freeport of Riga Ventspils as green shipping hubs, and we can develop the technology for our local ports, do the MVP for the ports, how it works, and then transfer it, the knowledge and technology to other ports of the world. The next is EV battery manufacturing. There are not that many companies which do manufacture the batteries, which is Northvolt, LG Energy, Enersys, and Exide Industries. So we have actually one startup one Latvian-Canadian joint startup in Rīgas Tehniskā Universitāte who are doing the research on batteries and recycling of those batteries. Then we can also develop, the country as such can develop different software development on how to utilize how to make the batteries work best and how to charge and decharge it. Then a very good sector that Latvia could also apply is their knowledge is air traffic control and aviation technology. We have quite a lot of air controllers and very qualified controllers which work in ANS Aero Navigācijas service, which provides navigation services for planes. And the main players are Thales, RTX Group, Honeywell, Indra. these are the providers of the controlling devices, but what Latvia could provide is simulation tech for different crisis situations for aviation control. We could provide drone traffic management and most importantly, what I see is Latvian ANS, Aero Navigation Service, as a European ATC hub, because it doesn't really matter where the controller sits. Is it in the bunker here in Riga, or does he control the Riga airspace, or does he control Brussels airspace? It doesn't really make a difference. And from personal experience, I know that Polish airspace is very busy, and it's some sectors of it are being closed just because of lack of controllers, and that is what Latvia can easily supply. And the one unique case is that there is a monopoly in the world for extreme ultraviolet lithography machines. So basically, those companies who want to manufacture the chip machines, the machines which make chips, only this company in Holland, in Netherlands, can manufacture those machinery. It doesn't matter which chip you develop, but ASML can make this device. So Latvia FIT is, we have a quite well developed photonics R&D, and we could supply either the services to ASML or different software integration, which is also quite doable. And believe it or not, but the old school high precision ball bearings for different satellites, airspace machinery, at the moment the three main players in the world, the Swedish SKF, which actually had a small shop here just across the street, then NSK and Schaeffler from Germany. And these are not ordinary bearings, but these are like high precision bearings for the high precision machines. So Latvia FIT is that we could use it for our space and defense spending, in that way developing the technology, how to manufacture them and how to design them. And we could, of course, depending on the costs, also like start manufacturing them, because there is quite a demand for that. And Latvia has good metalworking know-how and good metal infrastructure. And then it's just a wild guess, like Platinum Group metal recycling. These are the metals which are very expensive just to get from the earth. It's much cheaper to recycle them, and the main companies doing that is BASF from Germany, Johnson Matthey, Heraeus, and Umicore. And these are the metals that you get from different electronics, which is computers, telephones, and stuff like that. So it is very highly difficult to extract those metals, because they are very expensive, but they're also very small quantities in electronics. But it is still cheaper to recycle them than to extract anew from the ground. Then the next industry which is developing, and it's developing quite rapidly in Japan, there are already several companies providing it. It's container-sized nuclear fuel supply and reactors. So you can just put such a container somewhere in the small village with 50 to 80 houses, and it will power your village for about 20 years. And so the main players for that is Framatome, which is France, EDF, also France, and Nukem Energy, Germany. So the possibility for Latvia is attracting engineering services or simulations of software producers, so we can also simulate how the reactors will work and simulate different accidents and their prevention. And we can also develop different measuring tools to provide the operations, and monitoring software as well. So like I said, like many investment technologies, just chase the latest trends. Usually when the trend is already hot, then it's too late to enter because you're entering at the very, very top of that. So there are still some areas where you can go and get quite healthy margins. And I was just thinking about Latvian monopolies or such businesses, and just came up with two businesses. One of them is SS.com, as you know. It's as old as I am, and very, very not sophisticated, but so far nobody has been able to compete with them. And it is like a barrier of entry that the people are just used to such a product and they're not switching to it. Another company which is more innovative is Bells. Most probably you have never heard about it. They're manufacturing network solutions for the railway and for the military. It's like a GPS network, LMT and Tele2, but it's developed just for the Latvian railway system. They do all these pārmīs in English, switchboards. They control all the switchboards, all the communication with the trains, with the controllers and stuff, and basically they do not have any competition on that. And recently they've entered also like providing communication for the NATO forces, which is highly encrypted, I suppose, or specialized communication for the army, for the military. And so the focus is not only to my opinion or my recommendation would be like to focus not only on hot topics, but also think about niche and high barrier sectors where the demand is constant over decades, because it's a rule of thumb, if the business has been operating for a long time, which long time is 10, 20 years, then most probably it will operate for another 10, 20 years, hopefully, or the probability is quite high. Then it satisfies the regulatory and functional needs of people. And then we should also look for the areas where competition is limited. So there are some limited or handful of global players or regional specialists. So we do not have to enter those areas ourselves, but we can work as suppliers to those ones, because they are not so price sensitive. And the buyer relationships are quite sticky. This is an example of SS.com, where despite the fact that it's so old age and so outdated, people still like to use it, and just because they're used to it. And that is the end of my presentation today. Yeah, thank you.
I'd like to welcome on stage Jānis, representing LionPro Group, which is a family-owned business operating in the animal feed supplier industry, correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
That's right.
Go ahead, share.
Yeah. Thank you so much, and thank you for inviting me here today. So before coming here, I was trying to figure out what the previous presentation will be about. So my presentation is a little bit tweaked because I had slightly different expectations, but nevertheless, I'm very happy to hear it. And yeah, actually, I can give you very practical examples how we as a company actually approach the market in exactly the same way as you described in a few examples. So first of all, so LionPro is a family business that has grown into an international company. And at the moment, we are the largest European trader of processed animal proteins. So that's the niche you were referring to. So here you can see the locations where we have our offices, distribution centers, and local sales and training teams. And currently, as far as we know, we are monopoly with our niche products in the markets where in some of the markets where we operate, And to our knowledge, we have the widest distribution network in sub-Saharan Africa. So quick intro into the niche product that we are dealing with. So basically that's food waste or waste that comes from production of food for human consumption, which is collected, reprocessed, and then the outcome is a source of protein. That is not the final product, but that is an ingredient that is further used by animal feed producers, be it a farmer or be it a large-scale animal feed producer. So the services that we are doing is actually we are sourcing the products from across the globe. So our primary source is Western Europe, Brazil, US, and India. Then we are doing all the logistics, loading, export, and shipping to the country of destination. So these first three steps is something that our biggest competitors or biggest commodity trading companies in the world are doing. Apart from that, to be different, so what we are doing, we are actually having our local warehouses, distribution centers in the countries of destination. So what we are doing is we are doing custom clearance, we are doing warehousing and stock management for our customers, and delivering to the customer's door wherever it may be in Kenya, Nigeria, Vietnam, or Peru. So to give you a brief overview of the company, so the company is 30 years old. We are a strategic intermediary in this for these niche products between the European producers of these products to the customers across the globe. And we are the market leader in this specific area, and actually the number is a little bit outdated. At the moment, we are exporting close to 20% of total exports, European Union exports in this product group. And we have a global client base which is scattered across the globe. The same I can say about our suppliers. So we are basically the liquidity maker for certain commodity. And we are operating in growing markets, and our growth is driven actually by the population in the markets where we operate. And it's not by chance, as you might notice everywhere in the world, the whole industry is going on the southern part of the globe. So we were, at first I thought you will be encouraging to enter niche industries, and I wanted to give you a perspective that the industry where we are operating is agriculture, and that's animal feed production. So as you can see from the numbers, it's an industry which is close to $500 billion US, and it's expected to grow to 700 billion over the next 10 years. The growth rate is something that indicates that the industry is quite mature. And the largest competitors of the companies that I referred to in my previous slides is what is called in the industry as ABCD. So these are the largest commodity traders with annual revenues of tens and even hundreds of billions of dollars. And their experience and age of these companies is 100 to 200 years. And yeah, as I mentioned, the industry is very much mature, but it's not shrinking. So this is the competition that we are facing at the moment. So our pillars of the growth and what makes us special is, first of all, it's a combination of all these pillars that I'm mentioning here. So if you would take away each single one of them, then the four guys in the previous slide could outbeat us easily. However, if you combine them all, then this is something that keeps me awake and keeps me going back to my office when doubts start kicking in. So niche commodity, this is what I mentioned to you earlier, that's processed animal proteins. What is playing on our advantage is actually that since COVID started, the volatility and uncertainty in the market has been very high, and that has actually been to our advantage because we have very vast network of customers, suppliers. However, we are still very, very elastic, and we are able to switch the shipments of goods from one destination to another. The same goes for sourcing of different commodities. Then the next pillar of growth, and which is our biggest competitive advantage, is this combination of services, or focus on these three bottom services, which is custom clearance, stock management, and delivery to the door in the final destination. So in the countries where we operate, these things are annoyingly tricky, and this is something where Cargill, Bunge, or whoever, those guys are really reluctant to jump into this. So we have discovered this is our way to the market. And then apart from that, we are also focusing on underserviced target market and their needs. So here we are speaking also about smallhold farmers who have who lack the proper education, and we are actually kind of an integrated company which is not just trading. So we are actually growing our customer base. In the countries where we have offices, we have a trained staff who can go to the farm and actually educate the farmer how to better use the ingredients that we are trading, and how to ensure that and how to improve the efficiency of food production eventually. And finally, and this is something that's happening recently, size does matter in our industry. So because of the vast network of customers and vast network of suppliers, actually this is driving our growth, because each and every of our suppliers is very much eager to work with us, because they know that at any given moment we have a buyer for whatever they are producing. And the same stands the opposite way, that every customer of ours know that we have so many suppliers in so many continents that there is no chance that suddenly we might run out of any product for any reason. So what's next? So and then it's a bit a little bit emotional plus practical steps. So first of all, we are there to compete with those four guys, and our ambition is to be there. And we have realized that we have found the right doors to enter the industry, which has very huge barriers to entry, which are primarily the amount of working capital available. However, we have created quite unique network, which we are utilizing right now. And for your understanding, so currently we are working with a niche commodity. We have a customer base which is serviced by the same four guys. We are currently supplying 5 to 10% of their needs for production. So 5 to 10% of products that they need in their production. So it's very easy for us to upsell each and every one of them with the same commodities that our competitors are already doing. So we have entered our customer base. So it's now about expansion, which we are already actually doing. So that's the third one, which is trading commodities that are typically traded by these large enterprises. But what we realized is that by showing that we can provide a very good service and very good approach to the customers, we are already entering these big commodities. So just this year we started trading soybean meal, maize, which are two of the largest traded commodities in the world. And plus, of course, those four companies that I'm referring to, these are 100 to 200 years old. So they have a legacy, plus they have quite a heavy weight on their shoulders. So they are not able to innovate as fast or change their processes or adapt to the needs of their customers. So this is something where we with our agility can actually outbeat them at the moment. So yeah, and what's the most important, and that has changed over time. We are not focusing on what we have achieved or those who we have already passed. We are focusing on those guys which are in front of us. So we have pushed ourselves into this growth mindset. So it will never be enough, and this is something that is driving us as a company. So yeah, again, this is the emotional slide. So why we can do this? First of all, we come from a country where, well, we are basically in the very corner of Europe that, well, very few people know on the map where we are based. We have certain difficulties, historical and actual. What I really think is that we do have a work culture which is not 9 to 7. So we have an office in Holland. So if you hire a Dutch person, you will never be able to tell him, hey guy, you need to stay after 5 today because we need to finish this project. So he will say, okay, see you in the labor court. So this is something that I'm really proud of as a Latvian, that we have this still hard-working nation. So the next thing is social culture. So that's more related, that's kind of a negative legacy that we are having. As you noticed, we are operating in Africa, Southeast Asia, and Brazil. You know, if suddenly your goods are stuck for too long in the port, you definitely understand what that means. So this is making a difference between us as a company compared to Americans or Germans or whoever. And here I'm not saying that we are paying bribes. It's just that we are not sitting and waiting and listening to stupid explanations of certain government clerks. And plus, of course, I think as a small nation with this history, we have a much higher risk tolerance. So traveling to Nigeria, so the first time I went there on an airplane, I was trying to arrange a transfer from the airport to my hotel. And to my surprise, they sent me a list. So there's an ordinary transfer, armored vehicle with guards. So just then I realized, okay, so this is the country I'm traveling to right now. And yeah, we do have limited resources here and limited availability. So we have to be very creative how we are utilizing them. And this is, again, I think, a very big advantage if we compare ourselves to Western competitors. So yeah, and then some of the risks that I think are worthwhile to consider starting up a company, and that I faced, and the biggest one is actually the first two, which is the self-confidence and am I good enough? And this is where I just explained before that there have been times when I'm thinking, okay, what if Cargill enters our industry and starts buying up animal proteins? Then we are screwed immediately. But then I have to remind myself, listen, there are 4 other things that we are doing where we are much better than them. So this keeps us going. But this is a constant fight that me personally, as the business owner and the CEO, I'm facing. But yeah, this is something that we are also encouraging our teammates in the company each and every day. And then the third one is the perspective that it did take us some time to realize that we can compete on a global stage and that we should not be afraid to compete with huge companies with a long history, and that we are capable to do that. And then the problem that we are facing at the moment is this, I put it as I know the best. So it started as a bit of an arrogance that things started working our way. Then, you know, you become very cocky that you suddenly can do anything. But then, thank God, it switched to so I killed that arrogance. But now it's a little bit more about lack of trust in the team, and this is kind of a growth problem. So currently, we are converting from I have to do it because I know that if I do it, I will never screw up, to I have to trust my team and I have to build a team which will do it for me. And then biggest practical obstacle for a company for us and a company coming from our region, of course, is a cost of capital. In our industry, which is very conservative, which is very bankable, we are still forced to raise capital at 11, 10, 12%, while our competitors are easily doing that at 5, 4, 3. So, but nevertheless, this is what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So this is the limited resource that makes us become more efficient and more agile. Yeah, that's about it.
We can definitely take some time to question from the audience about the story of Lion Pro. Yes.
Yep.
How big of a team you are?
Actually, right now we are between 60 and 70 people. So our business is not like people intensive because it's still a trading company. So we are not employing the warehouse workers. So they are employed by the warehouse operator. So we are employing people who are actually making the deals and people who are actually doing the brain work, so to say.
Actually, I have a question. You spoke a lot about the growth mindset of the company now and onwards, but there has to be, I guess, if you're leading the European exports in your industry, there has to be some defensive mindset as well about how to hold that position, about how not to let your share to be taken away by others. How do you manage that?
This is. To be honest, in Europe we are becoming a big, but then we see that, for example, South America, which is producing much more food than also in our industry, that's a growing supplier. So we realize that if we are too much focused, this is about perspective. If you focus too much on just one continent, you might miss something very big in the next one. So this is we are constantly encouraging ourselves that we have to move from Europe and we have to look for goods elsewhere. So we are diversifying deliberately. So.
Other questions? I have another follow-up question, but I'm going to give the floor to you. Yes,
Yep.
I have a question. So do the ABCD guys notice you? Are they worried? Do you think they can take hostile action against you with the growth and your ambition?
Like I said, this is something that I am constantly thinking about. We have been noticed not by ABCD, but by some other guys a little bit lower down the line, but which was we actually, over the glass of wine, we got an offer for a takeover, which we didn't pursue because we see that those guys are, to be honest, for them going in and entering these markets, it's too complicated. For them, individually, each of these markets is still too small. For us, this is something that I explained earlier. So we are helping to grow this industry. So we want to grow our customer base. And so we are already ahead of them there. So at the moment, I would see rather us being complementing those guys, but our ambition is, of course, that we want to also enter their piece of the pie.
Other questions? Actually, I wanted to ask about, the industry competitors are already from 100 to 200 years operating. And your company is, I guess, 30?
30 years, yeah.
Do you think about the legacy of the company? How do you, let's say, structure it or process it in order for it to be, let's say, pursued forward as well for the many years to come?
So it's a family business, and I wouldn't call myself as a typical second generation because I inherited the company from my mother. She started it, but I took it over quite early in the early 2000s. So my current intention is actually to continue this, and my ambition is actually to grow something substantial as a Latvian, and to grow a Latvian company that might be noticed by these, more noticed by these 4 guys. And just, maybe to feed my ego, but...
Other questions from the audience? Yes, Jan?
I have a question regarding the scalability thing, and we're living in the age of AI. How do you think, how difficult is actually this trading process for your team, and can it be, can AI agents be trained in order to trade in the place of them? Can you scale?
So we are operating currently in our main business is actual deliverable commodity trading. So that means there are so many components, which is shipping, sourcing, finding the product and delivering to the actual door. So there are so many unknowns in between where actually computers still cannot figure out, what if Houthis attack someone at the Red Sea, so what will be the implications? So I think currently still human, the sophistication of the services is still too complex for AI to figure out what's the next step. But as a matter of fact, we are actually, we just started collaboration with the University of Agriculture in Latvia, which is actually surprisingly, so there are very surprisingly well-educated people. So we are thinking of sorry if, yeah, of course there are very well-educated people, but I mean young people who are really eager to jump in with us. So we are actually doing seminars across Africa and bringing Latvian students over there to teach, and they actually have very, very good results. So we are thinking of employing AI in making recipes for animals. So basically you are feeding in information of what is the composition of the feed, and then giving the outcome of how the animal is behaving and what are the parameters, how the chicken is growing, how many eggs, and what is the live weight, and so on. So this is something that we are thinking about.
Yes, Uldis?
Just as a question, given the jurisdictions where you operate, do you use insurance?
No, we don't. And I mean insurance, if you mean debtor insurance, then...
or even insurance of the physical goods you deliver?
So actually, as a matter of fact, last week we signed a contract with a subsidiary of the World Bank, which is called Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency. So you might read it tomorrow in the news, by the way. So we signed a contract with this institution to safeguard our investments, inventory, and everything that we have in countries in Africa against the risks of which are beyond business risks. So that we have insured. The business risks, it's a matter of constructing how you are dealing with your customers, not to allow any risks of defaults and so on. But answer is yes, we do seriously consider that. And yeah, as a matter of fact, this contract, we are unique, and we are the first company from Latvia who has done that. And this is actually a very big kind of token of confidence from a third party, a very reputable third party, that they also believe in what we are doing.
Okay, any more questions? If not, then again, applause. Thank you very much.